Hello everybody, this is Danny from Deep South Homestead. We are in the process now of digging our Irish potatoes, getting them out of the ground. It is one of them freak mornings here. It's 50 something degrees, right in the low 50s. Our Irish potatoes have begun to die. It's time to start getting them out of the ground. We got 3 or 4 days of dry weather coming up, so we're going to try to take advantage of it. We've had about 6 inches of rain over the last week, and if we don't get them out of the ground, they will blister. So we're going to take advantage of this nice weather and see if we can get this done. What I have here, this is a potato fork. I found this in an old junkyard, this bottom part here, and I went and bought a handle to go in this one rather than make one, because I just didn't have the whereabouts right now. I didn't have this piece to make this up here. I could have made it all out of wood, but I was pressed for time. I needed my potato fork to be able to dig potatoes with, and that's what this is a potato fork. And what you do is, you stick this thing, we like to get back away from the plant a little ways and just kind of press it in the ground and just kind of work it up like that and shake that dirt. It'll fall down through them forks. And then you end up with, there's your potatoes. You don't have to worry about sticking them.
As long as you get far enough back.
As long as you get far enough back away from your plants. And then when you pick it up, I like to rake mine from, just shake it a little bit. Like that, and that dirt will filter down through them forks. If you used a shovel, you'd be slicing your potatoes in half and stuff like that if you happen to hit one of them. And then you can't shake your dirt out of a shovel. Like, you can take this here and start rocking it from side to side, get your potatoes. Look at them things, man. Look at that. The really, really good tool to have on the homestead when it comes to harvesting potatoes here. What we're doing here, as we dig these Irish potatoes up, the row that's left over, we're going to come back and put sweet potato draws in it, because there's still some fertilizer in the ground, we believe, some nutrients, so we don't want to try to take advantage of that. All right, we're going to check another one out here. Let's just see what we got on these. Here we have another one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it looks like this particular one, make sure, yep, we got 7 off of this one. So one of the things we want to show y'all about our digging potatoes that we have to be concerned about here in the Deep South is a fire ant issue. As you know, potatoes are about 80% water, and when the ground gets dry, the fire ants here go to the potatoes and start eating them because of the water content in them, because they're looking for moisture. Even though we've had a rain here in the last couple of days, the fire ants are still coming to these potatoes because of the sweetness, the sugar in the potatoes. They go to that sugar to eat and feed up on. And I'm going to show you what one of them looks like down here. see this plant here, one of the leaves is laying on the ground. Well, those ants build up on the leaf like that. And they make an ant bed up here. And what happens is these ants will burrow down. If I can get this fork under it here. Those ants burrow down. See where the ant bed is right here. They burrow down around these potatoes. And the reason we're getting them today, I don't know if you can see those ants crawling around on the potatoes there. It's kind of cold out here this morning. It's 55 degrees. And that's making the ants real sluggish. That's why we're digging these potatoes right now, is because we noticed that there's fixing to be a fire ant issue with them. They're going to start coming, and wow, that's 3, 4, 5, 6 nice potatoes on this one plant that we stood to lose because fire ants were building up on them and going to start eating holes all in them. You can't store something like that in a root cellar when it's that way. And see, there's a plant right next to it here. They would have moved right on over into this plant and started getting it too. We're just trying to salvage and get potatoes out of the field before the ants actually come in here and destroy too much. Something I know y'all up north don't have to deal with, but those of us down south that deal with the fire ants, one of those things that we have to deal with continually down here is how to beat the pests at their own game. This is one of the things I want to show y'all about. You saw in my video curing the sweet Irish potatoes. This is one of those Irish potatoes that was planted in the ground. See how this plant came up out of it? Like this here, it came up right in the middle of it, that plant did. There's all the roots. This potato, where we cured it for several days and let it dry and let the sugars turn to starch, let me put it back and pull it off. That thing is still good.
We're going to plant it and see what grows.
I mean, watch this here. Look at that. That potato is still good, even after it has grown potatoes, still good in the ground. That's why you cure these eyes that you plant. That thing of putting a whole potato in the ground, there ain't no need in that. You cut these eyes off and you cure them things right, they will last. Okay, we've got the sweet Irish potatoes dug this one row. Got it bedded up, ready to go back and put our sweet potato slips in place of it. And got our old plants here at the end of the row. I'm just going to be honest, I'm going to say something that I might not ought to, but I'm going to just tell y'all it looks like chemtrails. I'm not lying to you. I've never had my potato plants look like this. And one day they were bright and green. God has been good. It come a big heavy rainstorm and the next day they were just like this. I'm just being honest with you. It just looks like chemtrails. Because I've never had this happen like this, and I don't want these diseased up things in my garden. So we've piled them up at the end. We're going to get them out of here and take them off and put them off in the woods somewhere. Look like somebody just sprayed them with a chemical. Okay, we're back up here. This is how many we got off of one row of potatoes. We've got 3 5-gallon buckets almost to the top. Just good average sized potatoes.
It's amazing. It's
amazing this year. Everything, we don't have any malformed potatoes this year. A lot of times our potatoes will have just weird looking eyes and big old funny shapes to them, but this year every one of them is just a nice uniform potato. And I don't see any of the eyes trying to get ready to want to sprout, so we're getting them off. I mean, I'm looking at them. I see the eyes like that. See, we've had so much rain. That's one of the things you have to worry about. These things will actually try to sprout in the ground, and they'll blister. And you can tell how damp they are. And they're drying off pretty quick. You can see the dry spots on them. But the ground is so wet, we're just trying to get them out of here before we lose them. Yesterday we got half of our field dug, and today we worked on the other half. We're up to approximately 430 pounds of potatoes that we've dug. So we were hoping to get 500 pounds, but I guess my calculations, I planted 38 pounds of seed potatoes this year, and I was going to plant 40. I guess I should have went ahead with the 40. It would have given me the 500 that I was looking for. So it kind of gives me a good average to keep in my records from here on out. But these are some real nice looking potatoes here. I mean, they're the good average size potato. Not too big, not too little. We don't like the real big old potatoes because they don't hold well. We like just a good, a good eating size potato here. And I know a lot of people's going to ask, oh my word, y'all going to eat all those potatoes? The answer is yes. Plus, we have to have some for seed potatoes for next year, so you can just go ahead and anticipate 40 pounds of these will be saved for next year for seed potatoes. So we won't be eating all of them, but these are just nice. These are just nice potatoes. I mean, there are no blemishes on them. We got them out just ahead of the weather and the ants. Of course, you have one that like this here. I'm sure somebody will come up with some kind of animal look or something. It may look like I don't know, it look like a Mickey Mouse with a bad ear on one side or something, or a Cyclops with one eye in the middle. I don't know. I think somebody will come up with something, I'm sure. It looks like a belly button almost. But these this is a harvest on Deep South Homestead from the potatoes y'all saw me plant back in the spring. 400 and something pounds. Can't go wrong with that. So
approximately 10 pounds.
10 pounds.
So that's 3 of these right now at 10 pounds.
Yeah. This is 16, so it's going to be 15 pounds.
Okay, so 3 at 10, 1 at 15. Alright, as you can see, this is what my dining room is looking like. We've got the fingerlings. We've already put up 8 jars of fingerlings, 8 pints. Got the rest of them back here in the back, a few small red ones. These boxes have the small red ones that we're going to can. We kind of kept them separated. So all the little boxes are going into jars, except for the bigger fingerlings back there we're going to eat on. Then you come around. All these will go to the cellar. And this is just day 2. I'm going to go show you day 1. Or the part of these are day 1, part day 2. The fingerlings was day 1. We might have put a few of the red potatoes, but we're going to go show you the other part of the red potatoes. We're in the milk room. This is our other stash of potatoes. As you can see, we have this bar covered. And then we have these in boxes on the floor. When we dig our potatoes, we don't take the dirt off. You don't wash them. You don't do anything to them but dig them and lay them out. That gives them time to cure. When we get through with this, we will put them in the cellar. We just lay them on our trays and have some air space between them so that they can stay through the winter in the cellar.
Okay, just give y'all a little tip on how we do our potatoes here. We separate our potatoes out in categories before we actually put them up. These have cured now. And what we do is we have this size down here. You can get them and look at them like these. These will go in jars and be canned because they will not hold very long. And then what I do is in the potatoes out here, I go through it and I get the larger potatoes. These will go to the cellar because they will hold a little bit longer than the other ones will. The larger ones. And then what we do from that point on is these that are about this size here, like this. These are the ones we'll eat first because these will last for a while in the cellar, but they will eventually start to shrivel up and get soft feeling. So we leave those out and we eat those on a daily basis here at the house and keep the lot larger ones in the cellar for long-term storage. Okay, one other thing I want to mention to y'all, don't ever wash a potato after you've pulled it up out of the ground. Leave the dirt on it, store it with the dirt on it, store it dirty. Don't ever wash it. If you do, it will spoil. Okay, we're going to take y'all to what we're doing here with our potatoes. I've built this rack system here, and this is the way we store them. If you know any place you can get these old bread racks, like they use in the grocery stores, I built this rack system. These things are designed to sit here. They slide in and out of here like this. And what we do, I put newspaper down on top of them. That way, if one of them happens to go bad, the newspaper will absorb the liquid out of it, and we don't usually lose a bunch of them. But Irish potatoes, you don't want them touching one another if you can help it. So what we do is we try to space them out on here and just stack them on these trays. And you can see these trays slide in. That way, in the cellar here, we can always come down and get our potatoes, and that way it's easy for us to keep an eye on them if one of them starts going bad or something, because we can just slide the racks out and look and see if the paper's wet. Kind of give y'all an idea about some of the different ways that you can store these potatoes by using things from like the bread racks. The bread racks are perfect for that, for storing these things. And let me go ahead and put some up here so we can, and these will slide in. You see there's already one underneath it there with potatoes already on it. That's the whole system, and then we'll slide it back in. And then what I'll do is I'll take another one, I'll lay it up on here. I'll take my papers. I just lay my newspapers on top of it like that. Single layer, they ain't got to be laid on there double layer or anything like that. Just so you got a place to lay your papers on there. And then we just take and start laying our Irish potatoes on them. And I might want to mention that each one of these bread racks will hold a 5-gallon bucket full of potatoes. So that'll kind of give you an idea when it comes to storage. I've got to build a lot more racks and get a lot more bread trays for what we've harvested this year, but just a little clip I thought we'd throw in here and mention to you.